Welcome to Healthy Finance Guide. This is Sachin Holigiri from Bengaluru. Today's topic is finance education. In that one, part one, and we'll talk about all about money, needs, wants, and desires, budgeting, and benefits of the budgeting. And the courtesy of this document and material goes to NISM. Let's continue our discussion on this topic. So first, see all about money. What do you mean by money and money management? So money management is nothing but it's a balancing income and expenses effectively. That's all called a money management. How much is coming, how much you are spending, that how you we do it efficiently. That's called a money management. And there may be a different type of expenses. It may be a regular expense, and it may be a financial goals because of financial goals. It may be because of taxes. It is because of investments and then insurance premiums. These are the expenses happening in our life, and it may be a regular or it may be optional. All those things will be there. So in case of regular expenses, what these are kind of regular? Basically, these are basic needs and little bit small optional spending. These comes under regular expenses, which are unavoidable. And there are large lump sum expenses also will come. For example, these are related to needs and wants and desires mostly. There are some needs are there like large expense. When I say needs, house is a need actually. There may be a house construction that is a lump sum and large expense, but still it comes under needs. At the same time, wants. I want a bigger vehicle. It may be a two wheeler or a four wheeler, or it may be bigger than the luxury vehicle. Those are comes under wants, and those are also larger expenses. There may be desires. I want to go for a world tour, or I want to go for some particular place location. I want to spend this much money on this particular things. Those are desires. This also comes under large expenses. And then understanding the difference between needs, wants, and desires is more crucial. Means this will make us uh, plan it better way. Particularly in financial management, we need to prioritize which is required, which is not required, and how to budget it. Those all things will come to in the upcoming slides. So let's see what are the needs and wants and desires. Let's see the first needs. What do you mean by needs? Needs are the essential for survival and well-being, means for day-to-day life and to be alive and little bit with a better way. So we are going to use do some expenses. Those expenses comes under needs, like expenses like food, shelter. It may be own house or rented house. It may be anything. Water is also crucial nowadays because everybody want to have a filtered water. Clothing as usual. And healthcare also nowadays becoming an essential thing because the expenses has been increased. Okay, so this way. And these are the like non-negotiable things. What do you mean why needs are important? We cannot compromise with this one. We need to spend money on these things actually without any uh, compromising. So these are the basic essential things for standard of living. And this takes a priority, means needs takes a priority when we are doing a financial planning. And we need to keep some money dedicated for this one for to continue our day-to-day life. So you cannot compromise, you cannot exclude these things. So let's see the what is the mean by wants actually. Now we saw the needs, which are essential things. Then something called wants. Wants go beyond the basic needs and focus on improving the quality of life with essential items. Let me give an example. Basic need of a family is a house. House may be a rented house or a own house. And if it is a own house, it may be a small house or it may be a bigger house. Basic need is house. But in case of wants, I may have want to have a permanent house, I mean my own house, or I may go for a, if it is a 2 BHK, I may go for 3 BHK or 4 BHK, like that kind of thing. It may be one story building right now. I want to go for another two more stories or one more story building. So those are comes under the wants. So this will improve our quality of life. But these are not essential things. Without this also we can survive. And then examples like for example, another some more examples like entertainment, travel, and then luxury goods, and which are like non-critical but for survival, but not for survival actually. It is for actually it's our wish, we want to do it. And wants should be prioritized only after fulfilling the basic needs. So basically what will happen whenever we want to do any kind of planning, we should first fulfill the needs and then wants, and then first next desires will come. And then let's see what about desires. Let's continue the discussion. Desires are the things which we wish but may not be able to always afford the things. What do you mean by that? So my desire is to go for a long vacation in one of the favorite destination, world's favorite destination. So that is my wish, desire. It is my desire. I want to go there, but I may not be able to afford that one. I want to buy a luxury car, and I may not be able to afford it. It doesn't mean that we cannot afford it. So if we do proper planning and become a wealthy, we can do all those things. But when we are doing the budgeting or financial management, we should consider this as a desires. These are desires. So always coming back to the needs take a priority in the financial planning, as they are vital for our day-to-day life, and it cannot be compromised. This is very important. We need to keep in mind, then only we can plan for a further. So what are the key takeaways when we discuss about needs and wants and desires? Allocating money first to the essential and ensures that our financial stability before addressing wants and desires. Again, same point. Basically we need to address our financial essential things first. We need to keep a money for it, then only we can think about wants and desires. And overspending on essential items without meeting the basic needs, non-essential things, and it can lead to financial challenges. Means without meeting the basic needs, I want to go for a wants and desires, so we may need to end up in a financial challenges. Means we may get into debt, or it may get into more other lose your savings. All those things will happen. So borrowing to fulfill desires means, to fulfill desires are like a highest level kind of thing. Borrowing to fulfill the desires can increase the cost due to interest rate, and it may lead to debt. See, since desires are the not essential things, very essential things, and this comes bit higher level which are difficult to afford. So in such cases what people will do, people will go for borrowing. When they borrow money because for desires which will not yield anything, just to for satisfaction or whatever it may be, then these things will cost, these costs will lead to a debt actually. So we may end up in a debt. Essentials are necessary and for daily living, but while non-essential now improve the life but not critical one. Means essentials are very much required as needs are required. Wants and desires are not a critical one. We can do it later whenever we have. And desires things are where we may look for but not able to afford, but often driven by emotions. As I said, going to a world tour, or going to getting a beautiful car, getting a bigger house, all those things, these are driven by emotions, not by practical things. So what we need to do all these things when we want to do it? So budgeting comes in picture actually. It doesn't mean that we should not have a desires and wants. We should have it, and for that one you should do a disciplined way. Budgeting comes. What do you mean budgeting? It's a process of planning how to manage and spend the money. Basically, I want to spend the money. I'm getting some income. It may be a daily or monthly or yearly. I have to spend that money more cautiously, means with a planned way. That is nothing called a budgeting. As every country or every organization, uh, every bigger organization, smaller organization, they do a budgeting of it. So what do you mean by budgeting? What it includes all those things? So basically, budgeting ensures that you are where your money is going rather than wondering what about it later. Means basically budgeting helps you to allocate the money for particular things, and with that way of spending you'll aware of that what amount I spent for what purposes. So you will come to know. Without budgeting, if you start spending, you'll not be aware of it, what for what there may be some x amount of money you spent, but you may not have a clue what it was. Which maybe it might be useful at that time, but we will not be will be unaware of it actually. Like choosing from menu, like how when we go to hotel and we'll choose a menu, how we'll choose a menu, we'll look into the what area of food you want. If you go in the lunch hours, you'll only look for lunch related items. If you go in the evening hours, you'll look for snacks level related items. Similar way, budgeting involves the prioritizing and importance of expenses. I mean, important expenses and ignoring unnecessary things. So basically, budgeting helps you to focus on what is required, what is your budget, what is your allocated money, and how you can spend it. That way, it will help. It requires accessing your income and expenses, means basically uh, which area of expense income you are getting, what way you are getting income, and what is our expenses, that can be easily trackable through the budgeting. And budgeting helps you to make sure essential expenses are covered while savings for emergencies. As our expenses also is a daily expense, how much it is essential, at the same time emergency funds also important. So for that one also we need to save it. So when you do budgeting, you will keep some money for emergency fund also. In such a way, we will well organized with uh, be very sure about expenses as well as emergency funds also. Recognizing the difference between the essential non-essential expense is a key for budgeting. Successful budgeting means basically, in the budgeting we identify what are required first things, what is the next wants, and what are the desires. Like that we'll budget it. So if you have a long term plan for desires, you can keep some money in the budget itself, so that we can plan for that time period of at that point of time, after over period of time. Okay. So what are benefits of budgeting? We saw what we do in budgeting. So it helps us to create a stable financial situation by managing income and expense effectively. Basically, in overall, it will help us to bring a stability in our financial management. So we'll come to know what is happening with our money. Even though it's our money, we are spending it, but still we should be aware of it. What is happening? Budgeting can reduce our debt and improve the financial health and leading the better opportunities. Here, what will happen when we do proper budgeting? We'll come to know expenses, one all things. So there will be some money, extra money saved. Those things can be used to reduce our debts, making an early EMI payment, one EMI, extra EMI payment per year, or paying some high interest debts early. So these things can be achieved through proper budgeting. And it ensures that there is a set of aside of money for kept for it. Actually means basically, it will ensure budgeting ensures your necessary things are taken care of it, and unexpected situations also there may be some. If smartly we do budgeting, we can keep some money for that one, and then we can overall improvement of finance management will happen through budgeting. So money comes, we need to decide what are the needs, how we to spend on it, what are the wants and how we want to spend it, and what are desires, and how this can be done effectively through the budgeting. So these are the basic things I covered in this whole topic, particularly what do you mean by money, and what are different costs or expenses we have, like needs, wants, and desires, and then how we can handle those things effectively using budgeting method. And with that way, we can bring our financial stability. And I would like to say thank you for listening this one, and please subscribe to the channel, like it, and share it, and comment it if you are doing a budgeting in your day-to-day life. Please comment it and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much.